This episode of Film Riot is brought to you by Domain.com.
Today on Film Riot, we get some focus.
She was so excited.
Because I know, deep down in my heart, I still love you.
Logo.
Welcome to Film Riot, the show that takes the mystery out of the effects and techniques going to some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley, and clearly you all saw something wrong with that scene.
I didn't.
Well, I hope you did, because if you didn't, you need to see the eye doctor immediately because you're blind. Yes, it was completely out of focus the entire time, and yes, it was on purpose. Hit me with a question. Oh, come on. All right, let me give this a shot here. I know focus is a basic topic, but I was hoping you'd cover it on the show, including maybe your favorite devices. See? Hard to read because it was out of focus, huh? That's a themed email read. That's how we do things.
That was stupid.
Yeah, okay. Just trying to tie everything together. But yes, it is basic, but I still think a great topic to cover, which we have never covered in these 3 years of Film Riot-ness. So let's fix that. On run and gun or no budget shoots, pulling focus can be a real pain, since usually you are the one that is both running the camera and pulling focus at the exact same time. For those times, there's not much I can tell you other than practice a lot. Walking around the house or wherever you want with your camera just to get a feel of the focus ring and pulling focus on the fly is a great idea to get you comfortable with it and able to do it without losing focus too often. After a while, it will become second nature and you'll definitely hit that much easier. But this is still not ideal, and even with tons of practice, when you're shooting wide open, or especially on a DSLR, you will end up losing focus, which is when you will hear people saying that your shot is soft. What they're really saying is it's out of focus. To help alleviate this issue, you would usually have a focus puller. This person's job is exactly what it sounds like, to pull focus. I mean, they have many other jobs. This is actually the first AC, but the most important of their job is to pull focus, which is why you will often hear them called the focus puller. They will stand on the side of the camera and pull focus with something called a follow focus, like this one from Lettuce Direct, which, as the email asked for, is my personal favorite. There's a ton of reasons why I prefer this one over others, like its mounting clamp style, so if there's something on the front of the rails, I don't have to take everything off first, the switchable gearbox, and so on. I won't go into all that here. If you would like to know more about this follow focus system, Aaron from Lettuce put together a really great video, which you can find right here. It's good loving, and it goes into pretty much everything. Now, mounting this is similar to most follow focuses. To start with, you need these focus gears here, which go around your focus ring. Then you mount the follow focus and connect it to the gear, and there you go. Another reason this is one of my favorites is because of how simple they have made adjusting this, especially if you're switching lenses. You can go from a fat lens to a skinny one and adjust super easily. Seems small, but when you're moving fast, it's pretty huge. But now we have everything set up and we're good to go, so now I will set my marks. And marks are two things: the actor's mark and your lens mark. So first you will watch the blocking of the scene. The actor walks in, goes here, then here, and turns and looks at the other actor. So here I have 4 marks I need for my lens: the distance of where he enters, then at this point, then the final point, and the distance to the second actor, since we're going to rack focus to him when the first actor looks over. Now, to get these marks, usually you're going to be pulling measurements, which means you will be taking a tape measure to find the distance from your camera to the actor. The key here is to start the measurement at the sensor of your camera, which on a professional camera you will find this by this marking here, which is a phi mark, and end at the actor's eyes. Once I have my distance, I will line that up on the lens by matching the footage here. Then I will mark it as 1 on my follow focus, and I will continue to do this with each mark, following with 2, then 3, and then 4. And I am now ready to easily nail the focus for the scene by just following the marks, including the otherwise final difficult pull to the second actor. Now, with the new LCDs and monitors that we have, pulling focus measurements isn't mandatory, especially for super run and gun projects with very little crew. You can easily get your marks by eye, but if you have extra time, it's nice to dial it in to be sure. But if you need to pull focus on the fly, or if you're just a one-man show, taking measurements really isn't possible. So instead, if you're using a zoom lens, you can snap in as tight as you can to your subject to make sure you're really nailing that focus. A lot of the times what looks like is in focus, you'll find actually wasn't once you punch in. Then when you have your focus, zoom back to the focal length you want and you're good to go. But even if you are using a prime lens, most digital cameras have the functionality to digitally zoom in for the same purpose. Just read your manual on your camera to see if it has the function so that you can punch in, get your focus, and everything will be as sharp as possible. Now you might think that if you are both pulling focus and running the camera at the same time by yourself, that a follow focus isn't needed, which is not the case. Of course you can pull focus right off the lens, and I do that often, but it's very beneficial to get your hands away from the lens for a much more smooth focus pull. Doing it right on the lens can add jitter to your shot, which is never good. Plus it just makes pulling focus a lot easier, especially since most lenses either have a very large throw or a very short one, meaning you have to turn the focus ring a lot to get your distance in the case of a cinema lens, or very little like on photography lenses. So for all my pro and low budget filmmakers out there, this is an absolute must. But for my no budget filmmakers, this piece of gear is a bit of a luxury. If you are trying to decide between spending money on new audio gear or follow focus, I would say go with the audio. And for you, I have an extremely low cost solution right after we thank our sponsor. Domain.com is the place to go if you're looking to get yourself a domain name or web hosting, whatever you're looking to do, blog, promoting your film. We've talked about this a million times on the show. Using it as a business card, which is a fantastic idea. Domain.com is by far the best place to do this. If you want a domain name but you can't decide what you want, you use that domain discovery system and you lock down the perfect one. It's helpful and also fun. And just to sweeten the deal, as I tell you a million times, if you use the coupon code FILMRIGHT when checking out, you get 15% off your domain name and web hosting. So if you're looking to build that presence on the web, do it through domain.com.
Logo.
So this is not my original idea. Someone actually tweeted this to me a few months back and I thought it was a really great idea, and that is this little fella right here. This is actually a jar opener, and as a jar opener, it kind of sucks and doesn't work at all. But thanks to these little teeth right here, it's kind of awesome as a super cheap makeshift follow focus. How cheap? You can get 3 of these on Amazon for about $5. Yeah. So here's how it works. Attach it to your lens and ta-da, you're ready to get your hands away from the lens for a much more smooth focus pull. And if you want to work with marks, you can still do that. Just attach something to be a mark on your lens and you can now do it the same as you would do with a follow focus system. Set your marks and nail the focus easily. Now this definitely works much better as a system for when you're running the camera and pulling focus yourself. When you have a focus puller, it'll work, but it's definitely not ideal. So there you go, a ridiculously inexpensive alternative to hold you over until you can upgrade, which the second you can upgrade to the proper gear, you absolutely should. This $5 jar opener is helpful, but nowhere near what you will get from the proper pro gear.
Logo.
Alrighty, my lovely ladies and people fella persons, we have reached the end of this very focused episode.
Awful.
That's good.
Awful.
It's themed. It's all tied together.
Awful joke.
But before I leave your eye holes, I want to give a shout out to this channel right here. When I was searching around the web, I found this guy's channel who also talked about the jar opener. I'm not sure if he's the first one to do it or if the person that tweeted me actually got it from him. It seems possible, so go check out his channel. He actually has some interesting no-budget filmmaking ideas. It's a pretty cool channel for sure. But that's it. As always, you can follow me right here, and don't forget about the new shirts, which you could find right here. They are still on sale, but only for a short time, so grab one of those if you're not into being naked. Or if you are, you can still use the shirt and be half naked. I don't judge. I'm fine with it. Okay, kiddies, I'll see you guys next week when the girl in the well is pissed and scary.